Tipp today in association with Slattery's of Pecan, your main Peugeot dealer for over 50 years in the Premier County. Slattery'sGarage.ie.
Now, welcome back to Tipp Today with Donal in for Fran today again. And we had a message to the show last week from Joe Hawkins, the teenage community activist in the Clonmel area. Joe, we'll say good morning to you, Joe, and we'll ask what your issue is that you were raising. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Donald. How are you? And good morning to all your listeners. It's an absolute beautiful morning in Tipperary, and
isn't it?
I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I suppose when I messaged you last week, I was on the back of an email that I sent to the 6 elected councillors in the Clonmel local electorate area. It got to do with an issue that was raised to me from people, carers, individuals who have young people with a disability, and they said that there's an extreme lack of public facilities, public toilets in the public realms across our town, and they said that young people are being disproportionately affected with the lack of public facilities for people with disabilities. And I suppose what this is doing, it's excluding people from going out in public, and they know that they can't rely on a toilet to be there, a public toilet that is adequately meeting their needs as young people with disabilities. And look, I think it's a serious enough issue that we have Tipperary County Council and planners and developers that are planning these areas, like in Clonmel with the plaza, with the new Shore Island development that's been developed, and there's this complete oversight on the council's behalf that public toilets in specific for young people with disabilities aren't being put into the planning process.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know that a lot of work has gone into that Shore Island Gardens that's going to be opening, I think they're telling us July, so definitely this summer. But there's no public toilets and disability toilets there, is there?
Yeah, like a public toilet. I think there's one public toilet in Clonmel. Quite a small toilet that it wouldn't. We all know what disabled toilets look like. They have a hoist. They have a changing bench. We all know what they look like, but we don't see them in our public spaces. Like the plaza was a complete oversight, and I'm surprised that someone hadn't been reined in because there's no public toilet. And we expect people to participate in social events in our town, yet the correct facilities aren't there. And there's a serious lack of access to public facilities in Clonmel as a whole. We see there's a vast amount of money being collected by Tipperary County Council from rates and all the various monies that they collect, and they just seem to be reluctant to reinvest into communities like Clonmel. And look, I was talking to a few people, and I won't mention anyone's name, but they asked me to raise this. And the point that I'd make, Donald, are we really an inclusive society when we say that we cannot meet the essential needs of young people with disabilities? And not just young people. I'm coming from the perspective as a young person, but any person that has a disability that wants to go out, but they're really limited. If they want to go to a festival that might be on in Clonmel, and they feel that they can't use the facilities because the facilities aren't there, well, that's an issue. And as I said, I've went and I've emailed 6 county councillors, and if any of them are listening into the show this morning, I'd hope that they would respond to my email and that they'd raise this with management of Tipperary County Council, or indeed the Borough District. We have a new district administrator coming in now, and I have sent her an email too, and I hope that she might take it on board as well in her new position. And what really needs to happen, Donald, is a county-wide audit of facilities needs to be done, and we need to really hone in now on what young people need, what people with disabilities need, and what public realms need. They need adequate facilities, public toilets for one, and public toilets that suit people with disabilities. It's a real life impact for any young person, and it's an unidentified issue, I believe, but the funding is there, and we need adequate adequate representation on the issue.
Yeah. Look, there's a massively unfair level of planning that goes into anyone with a disability making even a short trip out. But I know that the council will say that it is extremely expensive to run and time consuming to run public toilets. Unfortunately, they get vandalised, they need management, there's costs involved. But look, you made a really good call there for this audit to be conducted. And look, I'll be down at those Clonmel Borough District meetings, so I'll keep an eye on that as well, Joe, and I'm sure you will, and hopefully we'll see some action on it in the future. Listen, Joe, that's all we have time for this morning. Thanks very much for getting in touch with us and for your time this morning, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you on the show very soon again.
Thanks very much, Don. Have a good day.
And you too.
Tipp FM's Tipp Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Main Peugeot dealers in the Premier County. And now stocking the full range of the luxury French car brand DS Automobiles. Book your test drive today with Slattery's Garage, Puck On. See slatterysgarage.ie.